Go for
Aye.
it, James.
All right, I'm done. Let's begin.
Okay. You want to? I start. Or you
So I liked it.
Okay, have
It's
you recorded
one of my
yet?
favorites.
Where are we at? You have to give me a signal. For God's sake.
I gave you a signal. I'll give it again.
Wait!
I already started.
Okay. So yes, hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast, yada yada yada.
Let me mute this game real quick. All right. Round 3 of 3, let's go.
Okay. Oh my
Hello,
god.
everyone.
All right.
Welcome back. Yep.
To the podcast.
Mm-hmm. So I like.
I'm your host, Cole. Can we? All right. James likes it. I think it's okay. All right. Thanks for watching.
Well, I think it's okay, but I like it. On an objective note, I think it's okay. But subjectively, I like it.
But James, what movie are you talking about?
Well, let's not tell them yet. Let's give them a bunch of hits. So this movie features the most attractive 2D animated female of all time.
And male.
Maybe. I don't know. I think Flynn Rider might beat out either of them.
I was referring to the main cast. I was referring to the chieftain.
Oh.
Listen,
Right,
the
so
bigger the man,
go.
the bigger the heart.
There you go. Attractive female protagonist and a chieftain. So already we've limited your options down. We said it's animated, so we're down to like Pocahontas and Fern Gully.
I think you mean Trail of Tears. That's what that movie's called. Pocahontas.
Pocahontas is called Trail of Tears. That's awful.
I mean,
have you seen Dances
that's
with
the
Wolves?
movie. That's the movie, James.
No, the Trail of Tears came later. There was like a government and everything at that point.
I'd say Pocahontas is awful.
What?
Yeah.
Okay,
good.
So everyone, we were going to talk about Road to Eldorado, but now we're going to talk about Pocahontas. Why is Pocahontas awful?
There's a lot of weird stuff. I just don't get it. Like, the main villain has like weird motives, and they try to like double side the argument of like, oh, don't invade homeland, but also let white people around. You know, they're not bad, not terrible. And they try to like undermine the genocide.
Told us that white people were okay.
Okay, everyone. Well, they undermine genocide.
Tune in next week when we talk about Pocahontas, because that's what's important now. We're gonna go watch it. Okay.
Oh my god! Sure, let's do it.
Yep.
We'll do that. But right. Let's talk about the film we're talking about today.
3, 2.
What?
What? All right.
We have to review the movie we watched.
We did. I said I liked it, and it was okay, and you said it was okay.
Yeah, but we can go in more depth.
All right. So I had tacos for dinner, so I'm gonna give it 5 tacos for my score. Wow. Go ahead.
Oh my god. Okay, so the film we're talking about is The Road to Eldorado. I don't have my list of like things of when it came out or all that stuff on me right now.
Oh, I'll get it. You keep doing the introduction. Yeah. I'll provide the deets.
But the thing of the film is that it's obviously 2D animated with some 3D CGI thrown in a few spots. It's by DreamWorks. And help me out. Yes, and me, James. Yes, and me.
It runs an hour and a half, almost to the minute. It came out in 2000. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's narrated by Elton John. What?
Really?
Yeah. I think I knew that, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't pick up on it. It must just.
Elton John did a lot of. Oh, yeah,
Elton John. He also did the whole soundtrack.
He was doing music. Yeah, I knew the voice sounded familiar. I just couldn't put my finger on where it was from.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very weird pick, personally. I think the scene was fine, but we'll get to that. But yeah, the film we're talking about is Eldorado.
Road to Eldorado.
Just finished watching it. And I will say overall, like I said, it's pretty good. There's a few things. It's like, first of all, we're gonna lay this out. It's a kids movie, so there are a few things that are just kind of
what's
like
that supposed to mean, Cole?
Oh my god. Well, so a lot of the times when you praise movies or your kids' movies, people will be like, "Oh, it's a kids' movie. Of course, it's good." But like, that's not always the case.
Absolutely not.
Kids' movies aren't always great, especially
sometimes they're very
a lot.
bad.
Yeah, a lot of the ones in the 2000s are like there's a lot of hit or misses. Like,
Cars 2.
oh well, Cars 2, but there's another one that's similar to this movie that just doesn't have the same oomph as it does. Can't remember what it's called.
Similar
Is it Sinbad?
to
I think it's Sinbad.
Sinbad?
Sinbad. It's something Sinbad.
Something Sinbad.
God, what is it called? It's gonna kill me the rest of the night unless I figure it out. Is it The Adventures of Sinbad? Something like that. But it's very much in the same vein as this movie. Two guys. One of them's very regal. One of them's not. Hot girl. It's a lot of CGI. Dealing with mythology and gods.
It's
very similar stuff. Well, 2D animation, but with some CGI thrown in, or 3D renders thrown in, or whatever you call them.
All right, I'll allow it.
I think it's The Adventures of Sinbad. I think is what it's called, but I could be totally wrong.
Sinbad is the name of a movie that came out.
Yeah, so
2003. So I'll allow it.
Yeah, Pat put it on screen. But like all those that film and this film had very similar vibes to me, but I enjoyed this film a little more. Mostly because it was funnier. If I'm going to be completely honest, like this movie had much more like comedic bits, I guess you could say. Our main two leads seem to get in over their heads a lot, even at the start of the movie.
Yeah, they're both con artists, but essentially, so
yeah.
they're fun and eccentric, but they very much
living life to the fullest.
Yeah, so they very much like overstep when they have a good thing going for them. We see early on,
Absolutely.
like they're doing cons, so essentially
Loaded
everything's
dice.
a gamble, and they are willing to go all in on stuff. So
yeah, the first thing we see them introduce is that it's a loaded dice they're using to get their goal, and then man introduces a map. It goes like, this map for all the gold, and they're like, haha, sure, we're gonna win. And then they had them use the other dice, and they still did it because one of them was like, oh, come on, it could be, we could get even more gold, come on.
Yep, a lot of that general idea. Greed.
Yeah, greed in one hand, and then the other hand or Miguel's the blonde one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Miguel. He's very greedy at the start, and then Tulio is very much play it safe. Let's just take what we have.
Yep.
But yeah, so they realize they get it, and then they get shown, oh hey, all the dice you were using, haha, it was faked, and then they get in trouble. And then they immediately spin things on each other. So they start fighting each other, causing a scene, being very dramatic for the audience, and it works. And we kind of get a sense of their characters, which is that exact thing.
Yeah,
they're
right
very
away,
much like in on it.
Yeah, right away we kind of realize they're close. They've known each other a long time, and they're fairly good at this. And when they do fail, they already have worked out a way to get out of a tight situation.
Yeah, they're always quick-witted and quick thinking.
Yep.
But their main goal is to get money. Like that's their main objective.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we're righteous, we're gonna do the right thing because we're good and we're nice. No, they want gold.
They're very much out for themselves.
Yeah, which in Spain in 1519 makes sense,
Oh, anywhere it makes sense. Screw it.
Anywhere, yeah, even 2020 America.
Yep.
So yeah, so they eventually, after the whole fight, they then get chased around. Some hijinks ensue, and eventually they're on a boat to Cuba, I think. Right? Is it Cuba?
Yeah, that's where the bet's going.
Yeah.
They end up in Mexico or South America.
Hmm.
It's based off of the Mayans, which are in Mexico. So we'll
Yeah.
assume that.
But the whole thing is they're on their way over to the new world, which we saw earlier, and like the big general guy, he's like going through, or they find them and they bring them to him, and he's just like, normally in a kids movie, they're just like, oh, we're just gonna throw you off board, but in this movie, they're like, haha, slave labor.
Yeah.
Which is very weird because
which is one of my favorite institutions, by the way, slavery.
Um, so the kids don't really understand. I want to rush past that. Kids don't really understand what that means, so it's a very strange thing to just throw out there and be like, haha, we're gonna get dark for a second.
It's almost
and
as
talk
if
about
they
something
can
that-
reference more adult themes in kids' movies. Which
Which
is
they
why
can.
your comment earlier on it being a kids' movie was so strange. But moving on, I suppose.
No, I'm said that because kids movie can be more than just a kids movie. I was saying that because I believe kids movie can be more than just it's for kids.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen a Pixar movie?
I wasn't older Pixar movies.
Well, of course. The good ones.
Older.
Well, even WALL-E is really good.
But WALL-E was
remember, that's like 10 years old.
Yes, WALL-E is one of the older ones. That was the last one they sat down and made together, like at the cafe.
Yeah, that was a really good one.
But yeah, anyways, the film, like that, yeah, they're on the journey. A lot of the movie, I will say, is just a lot of them like getting to Eldorado. Like that is a good chunk of the movie, and it makes me wonder.
Well, if you were to look at
if this movie came out in,
definitely the first act would be them getting there.
Yeah, the second act is a bit longer, and then the third act is like a quick, oh, we got to solve this problem. Boom, problem has been solved.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll get to the third act. But I was going to say, if the thing is that this movie is pretty short, it's an hour and a half, we said. And I feel like if this movie came out in this current day, like this current era, first of all, it wouldn't be 2D. It'd be 3 or it'd be CGI or 3D or whatever. It'd be done with models, which would take away part of the charm. But it would also be like 2 hours longer.
Maybe.
Which I don't really get. I think back when movies were shorter, there's a rule where like with film, the more time you have, the more story you tell, which is not always a good thing. Sometimes some stories don't need 2 hours worth of information when we can get it in less. It's important to find that balance.
It just depends what kind of story you're trying to tell. Like you watch The Lord of the Rings, you have like upwards of 15 main characters. They all have arcs that they're kind of going on, and there's like a whole world that needs to get built and kind of resolved. Whereas in this, we have 2 main characters and then a third one that we meet later.
So those movies are long because there's a lot to tell. Because in the books, there's a lot to tell. But there's sometimes movies where you would sit down and watch and just be like, all right, I get what you're going for. You don't need to keep sitting down and reminding me. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Do you mean like repeating stuff or?
Yeah, like reestablishing things we already know. I know TV shows do that a lot, where like they'll go to commercial and then they'll come back and say, okay, here's everything you've missed so far. And I understand that works for TV format, but I know some movies do that, and I really don't get that.
I rewatched Terminator 2 like a couple days ago, and one part that made me think of what you're referencing right now is there's after have you seen that movie?
Let's pretend I said yes.
Oh, we're watching that next. Okay, so well, you get explained like the whole lore of like how the Terminators work, where they're from, so on and so forth. And then in the second movie, Yeah. So in the second movie, it like happens again, like a second Terminator comes back. So they go and
Yeah.
uh, the Terminator and the good Terminator, good Arnie this time, and
Hmm.
the kid go and break Sarah Connor out of her mental ward. And while they're
Hmm.
like driving away from there, Sarah Connor kind of looks at him and she's like, "All right, so what's your story?" And then the Terminator like glances at her like there's about to be exposition, but then just cuts to the next scene, and it's like, oh well, that's a good idea. We already know everything that he's gonna say, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how it's done properly.
that's
Where it's
good.
like we already know that this is later in the movie, so we don't need to be reminded what happened. Didn't
Right.
they do that with the new Terminator during the commercials? They kept going like, "Oh man, Terminators are created to do this, and now they're back." And those
Maybe.
are lines from the movies, so I didn't see it, but so I
Uh,
really don't have any room to speak on it. But
it was quite insulting. So
oh,
we'll do
okay,
an episode on that too.
well, that's a whole series, so that's a special episode.
All right, there you go. Episode 10, folks. Or
But
15.
or 15. We'll find out. You'll find out.
We'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, the point I'm trying to say is that sometimes the story doesn't need to be 2 hours, and this definitely is a movie where I feel like if it was made longer, I would not like it as.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I agree. I recently watched The Lion King, the good one, and The Emperor's New Groove, and
Mhm.
both of those movies are also only an hour and a half. And
Mhm.
it's pretty impressive that I think it's mostly done because like you said, the main demographic is for children, so you kind of want to try to keep their attention. But
Short attention spans and whatnot.
right, but it's pretty impressive how they can like keep you engaged. And I was watching it with my friend Aiden, and we're like um we're like halfway through The Emperor's New Groove, and we've been rewatching the Star Wars prequels. And he's like,
Mhm.
"Man, this movie has held my attention a lot better than other movies have as of late." And I'm just like, it's because it's made to hold your attention because it's for children like you.
Well, not even just for children, just because they know, okay, we don't have much time, so it's not dwindle on the details. It's not
I was
like
just picking
go
on
in
it.
depth on that. I get that, but I'm gonna go on the tangent.
Go ahead.
You can't stop me.
I like it.
Um, um, yeah. So movies, kids' movies specifically, have a lot of times where they don't go deep into something because they don't need to. Because it's like, okay, you can just like suspend your disbelief. You know, it's we know what's happening. We get it doesn't make sense, but we can just roll with it. Like someone turning into a llama and us just feel like, how does she have those potions? How does she make them? That's not important to the
Yeah,
story.
that's
So
not
they don't
important.
dwell on it. Like in this movie, how does that guy have magic powers but nobody else does?
Yeah, he's a
Not important.
sorcerer.
It's
Easy.
He's a sorcerer. Yeah, he just has powers because he believes in the gods.
Yep.
And we know as the audience that these characters aren't gods. So we are aware that yes, he really does have the power of the gods, but which makes the later less end of the film a little more strange. But we'll get into that, I guess, spoiler time. But the movie's short, which is nice. And as they're on their adventure, is it not Phil Collins? Who did you just say?
Elton John.
Elton John.
Yeah. Phil Collins does the other movie.
His brother Bear.
I was thinking
Elton
Tarzan.
John singing. Well, that too. Elton John singing about their friendship and what they're doing, and I do have a slight problem.
Do you? What is that?
Well, so it's not important for this film because they aren't really establishing anything groundbreaking. But I do have a problem when a film tries to sing at you instead of the characters singing. If that makes sense.
Nope.
Like some okay. Let me explain it like this. Emotions that a character feels during certain scenes normally are expressed through them singing. Like that's how normally, like if you're doing like an animated musical sort of thing, it's important to have the character explain their problem through song and not have it being sung at them because it feels weird. It feels different. Like in the new Dumbo remake, there's a song from the original Dumbo about like how, or Dumbo, I was about to say Bambi. Dumbo's mom is showing like, oh, I love you and care for you. But like in the remake, it's just someone singing the song, and it's really weird because it doesn't make in context with them singing the song, because it's just them singing it. It doesn't make any sense.
So you're
Now,
saying
I'm not
that
saying this movie did that.
the voice actor from like the voice actor of one of the characters should be singing it, or
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
okay.
It feels more impactful if they're singing rather than just the movie singing at us. But that's only for like if important like character dramatic moments when the character's talking. You know, when we're supposed to be told information by the character sitting at us, which that's not happening here. It's just filler music to back the background. But I still feel it feels like it wants to be a musical. Definitely does, because there are a few songs that they do sing.
Well, I don't.
But I definitely,
I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, all the Disney songs have music. Not all of them, but
that is true. They're not all musicals.
I don't think any of them. I don't think they're really trying to be musicals. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a thing that does happen.
Yeah. No. Fair enough.
And this movie does do it, and it's fine. Like they did that in Tarzan 2, where like they had, what I just said earlier, he sang to us instead of letting the characters sing. That's why Tarzan is one of the weaker of the bunch.
Interesting.
So yeah, James, you want to pick up from where the story is from here?
Wait.
They're on the journey. Yeah. What's up?
So you think it is worse just because the person who's singing isn't the same person as the voice actor?
No. There's other reason. Like, no. I don't think that movie's terrible. I just think that's one of the.
Well, I think Tarzan is definitely
not great.
In the one song, the Strangers Like Me.
Yes.
It's definitely supposed to be him singing to the girl, Jane. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's for all the songs in that film. I'm not saying that's the reason the film's bad. It's not bad per se. I like it, but it feels weaker than the other ones because it doesn't have as much of that impact. You know, that song itself has more impact than most of the other music.
Really think that's more impactful than the one with
because
Mama Gorilla and Baby Tarzan?
Well, we're learning about Tarzan as a character through that song. I do think that opening song's pretty good, but like when the band's skying, like when the gorillas are skying, the human music, like that feels like
The Two Worlds one with the human family and the gorilla family.
No. There's another there's the comedy scene where like all the gorillas find the human artifacts and start like music with artifacts.
Oh, and they're like in the camp, like making music.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's just the type of stuff I'm talking about. Like that's just
that's not trying to develop a character. That's more plot relevant.
Yeah, or less plot relevant.
Well, its goal is to be plot relevant as opposed to character centric or character development.
Yeah. So the long of the short of it is that music is weird in movies because sometimes they're able to tell what the story's trying to say. The character's saying it. Sometimes they do that and it's not done as well as the character saying it.
Gotcha. All right, I'll allow
it. You're allowed to have that one, Cole.
I'll give you that one for free. But you got to work for the rest of them.
Okay, all right.
That was the only freebie.
So at this point now, they're on their way to. They're at the city, but it's just a rock.
I'm sorry, you cut out at the end there. What?
Oh, they're at a rock. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so they're
They're
they're like
following the map
they're
that they got
following their
earlier,
map,
which
yeah, and like
survived
the
rain, water.
right, like yeah, it's just markings on a map that line up to with like rocks or like other artifacts or
They look like the things, like
like
a
I don't
crying
want to say like
girl.
drawings, but like carvings through the jungle as
Yeah.
they're traveling, and we get a whole
Mhm.
song and a montage of them going along with their newly found horse friend and from the
Yep.
boat, and then
Yep.
they end up they kind of think like all hope is lost when they get to the last like waypoint on the map because it appears
And it's a
that
rock.
like there's just nothing here. There's like a waterfall in the background,
Mhm.
but nothing else. And then like
Mhm.
as they're getting ready to
About to head
head
out.
out, a girl shows up, and this is when the movie gets good, of course, because now she's in it, and she's running away
Well, she
from.
has a name. James.
She does, but you and I both know that here we don't value women enough to give them names.
God, James.
What?
Please. We do value women, please.
Her name is Chell. Fine.
There you go. From Portal 2.
Yep.
That exact shell.
Yep, the same one.
The same exact one, yeah.
Her life really changed after time on the
outside.
Yep. Just
She
imagine
developed into the
being
skin
like
color.
a native to the Mayan portions of
Yeah.
Mexico and then traveling to a new world just to end up
Be kidnapped by a robot who wants to kill you.
who like actively
just-
sings songs about you dying. That's a good game.
Oh,
If you haven't
man.
played Portal,
Oh my god, Portal is so good. Portal 1 and 2. Portal 2, not as much because I feel it's a little more bloated, but Portal 2 is definitely.
what?
I just mean it's a lot bigger
We're
because they were given a
canceling the
bigger
stream to
budget.
talk about Portal. Portal 2 is definitely the superior game.
Oh, you want to? We can do that. I can talk about Portal.
Yep, let's do it. We're at Eldorado.
I'll be honest, there's not much to really talk. Yeah, Eldorado is good. All right, special side review.
All right, let's finish Eldorado first. You got me. You bluffed.
I'm down, but
we can talk about Portal. I will develop stronger feelings for Portal 2 as we discuss this one. Let's see.
They find the girl and she has like a weird like golden skull thing.
Right, she's
trying to run off with.
She's stolen something from
their
the temple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Eldorado, so city of gold, as one is.
Even the butterflies are gold.
Yep. The fish are all like gigantic and beautiful. It's a great little area hidden away.
Statues.
You have to like travel through the waterfall we mentioned to get there. So it's real nice little hidden paradise, as it were, the promised land.
Paradise.
Yep. So
it is literally just paradise.
Yep. So they get there, and right away we're introduced to 2 new characters, and this would be the chieftain, whose name
big, just lovable guy.
It is spelled similar to Tanabak, but I will not guarantee that is the correct pronunciation. And from now on, I will be referring to him as Chief or Chieftain.
Yes, because we are bad with words.
Yep. Because we are not diverse, and we will not be learning something new here today.
But yeah, so
did you know that in Mexico they're actually really racist to the Mayans?
Really?
Oh yeah, like if you're of Mayan heritage, you are likely to be smaller, like shorter in size, and you're also like there's certain facial features that are very noticeable, and they are regarded as very unattractive, so they are not given jobs where they are like receptionists or something. where they're on display. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Huh.
Especially
That's
when you consider
kinda
how
weird.
much of an uproar all the racism is here in America. But that's none of my business. Anyway,
Well, because we live in America. I'm sure if we go down there, it'd be it'd be basically the same thing, but it'd be Mayans and Mexicans instead of Mexicans, in America.
Yeah.
Which is
Mayans are there.
very weird now that
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Mexicans aren't
yeah.
parasites. Did you disagree with me? Cole, you racist.
No, I disagree with you.
Uh-huh.
They are people too.
That's right.
Parasites are people.
Well,
no, everyone's
that
people.
scrubs any guilt I was feeling. Anyway.
Oh my god. I'm gonna get canceled.
Come at us, cancel culture. We'll take it. I eat death threats for breakfast. I don't eat breakfast.
Yeah, now they're at the. I don't have breakfast either. I just skip breakfast. I wake up at noon and go like, haha.
Yeah, right?
Miss the meal of the day and lose weight.
Perfect. Unless I'm working, then I wake up at like 3 a.m., in which case, still no breakfast, but
It's not breakfast, it's midnight snack.
Right, because 3 a.m. is now midnight.
Well, you know what I mean. It's
You're
a late night.
Dumb. Did everyone hear that? Cole just said that 3 a.m. is midnight, therefore all of his opinions on media are now wrong. Especially the Tarzan bullcrap.
I haven't seen Tarzan forever. I was just pulling something out of my rear to try to piece together what
we're doing Tarzan next. Next episode is going to have like 14 different parts.
Pocahontas, Tarzan, Portal. My favorite films.
We really like old Disney, I guess.
We grew up on it.
Of course.
Which might get why this film gets a lot more love than we understand. Or as I understand.
DreamWorks. Is Tarzan Disney?
DreamWorks has always been.
It is.
Yeah, Tarzan is Disney. Yeah, it's like at the end of the Renaissance before they made Brother Bear and all.
Ah, yes, of course.
Like, personally, my nostalgia movie is Brother Bear. I know it's bad, but I loved it as a kid. And I think that's the same thing here with Eldorado. I think people liked it as a kid, but really haven't gone back to it to realize that it's not bad. It's just nothing amazing.
Shell.
Yep.
So.
Because one of the things that I would like to talk about is the girl and her whole plot. Question mark. Or her character.
She has a nice plot.
And a great arc.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, early in the movie, we assumed that, she wants to get out. We understand that motivation.
Oh, you were talking about, like, a story arc. Gross.
The story arc, James.
Let's
please.
Talk about writing.
James. It seems pretty early on in the movie that she just wants to get out. But, like, near the middle, it's almost like she wants them to split up, kind of.
So we can put this all into context.
Yeah.
Well, let's our first act kind of ends on our two protagonists, Miguel and Tulio, entering the City of Gold, as it were, and we get introduced to our chieftain and our witch doctor, and right away, massive convenience.
Right away, the witch doctor's like, kill this girl. Let's kill her. Let's do it. Come on, murder.
Right. He's all about sacrificing, which I can actually share a little bit about the Mayan sacrificing, but I'll save that for later. But ultimately, he's like, we're interested in seeing, your power, your wrath, as it were. And so they're a bit confused. They're like not sure what to do now because they're like, oh, we're in over our head, and they're kind of like arguing with each other off to the side, and then a volcano starts erupting in the background. And, everyone in the city is like, oh my god, it's happening. And then Tulio yells, stop. And then it just stops erupting. So they're like, oh, all right. Well, there you go. That confirms it. Gods.
And they all bow.
Yep. So and they're introduced to their temple where they can stay, and that's pretty much our first act. So, do you want to call spoilers here then? That'd probably be easiest if we want to talk about like character arcs.
I think so, because like I said, spoiler is a weird thing to say for kids movie. But yeah, I guess a spoiler from here.
Stop it.
Stop what?
Kids movie. That doesn't mean people haven't seen it.
That is true.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. This will be my first time seeing it. So yeah. Got me there.
And I didn't see it until like a couple years ago.
So we're both a little bit of this. So
I saw it with a girl.
My opinion is
her friends were all
I give it I give it a solid Snapple out of 10.
And I already gave my rating, so
5 tacos, right?
That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah.
All right.
James, play back the clip that he said at the beginning of the review, and there you go.
Flashback.
So I had tacos for dinner, so I'm gonna give it 5 tacos.
End of flashback.
So anyway.
So spoilers from here on out. Let's go.
Yep. So
So Julio and Miguel,
also known as Shell, is so besides being everybody's favorite character, she is chilling in the temple when our protagonists are talking to each other about their grand plans for gathering up some gold and then getting on their way. It makes sense that she's up there because she was told to go put her artifact back, as she does.
Yep.
So she's chilling and overhears them, and then they're like trying to convince her that they're still gods, and she's like not buying it at all. So she cuts a deal with them where she's going to she told everyone outside that her only wish is to serve the gods. So her plan is to gosh darn it. Her plan is to give them guidance essentially on the various customs and the culture essentially of these Mayans. That way they can better fit in and not look like idiots while referring to the religion that, according to everybody else, they created.
Yes.
And this comes with all of the awkwardness and comedic value that you would assume from a
she's tempting us. Don't fall for their temptations, says the guy who immediately falls for her temptations.
I mean, he's only a man.
No, James, he's a god.
That's what they thought. Until they didn't.
Until they didn't.
So
so now they're a little over their heads, but they have someone who's been here around for a long time, and they've cut a deal, so they got this. They can figure this out.
Right.
But the thing is, every single time an event happens, they don't know what's going on, and then she explains, like, not that she's explaining it during the event, like while the event is mid-happening. So now they know very little and still have to just quickly use their wits.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that's a terrible thing, but I'm saying for someone who promised to explain everything, she hasn't explained anything until the moment that it happens.
Well, she seems to be almost caught off guard the first time because they're like asleep, and then they're thrust right into everything. Yeah.
Because like they made the deal and then they had a big party. So first day, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah,
but like
they have
throughout
like a feast
the next
and
few days,
it goes great essentially because they're really just chilling while festivities happen around them.
And they're having fun.
Right. So there's pretty much no problem. And then the next day they're woken up from sleep by our sorcerer, witch doctor, religious fanatic friend. I don't think all religious fanatics are witch doctors or insane or evil, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good save, James.
I'm going to stick by that. So
I'm glad you said that about one group of people in this review.
Yeah. Gotta make sure we're all clear here. I also don't think all Mayans are dumb.
You guys are ugly as all hell, but you got a brain.
Dude, no, Shell. By the
you
way,
got me there.
Michelle does not have Mayan-like qualities. She's definitely been pretty fired up by the animators.
Well, I think most.
To no
Yeah.
disdain from me, by the way. This is fine.
Not that I'm complaining, but I would
Right.
like a little more accurate history. You know,
I'm okay with, you take the good with the bad.
hey, it's possible. There could be one in a million. You know,
right? Maybe she's
sometimes
like,
the genes just work.
maybe they just think she's really ugly, actually, because she's like all deformed to have like really nice curves and stuff. You know?
Yeah,
Who
they're
knows?
like, she's too perfect.
Right. But like they don't think it's perfect.
Freak.
Right. It's like
I think what it is, James, is we never see her feet, so maybe she has like weird feet, like she has like 3 toes on one and like 5 on the other.
Is
Maybe
having
that's what
5
it is.
toes weird?
No, like she has 7 toes in general.
Oh.
Yeah, like she has
Okay.
one normal foot and the other one what's weird. That's what people are like. That's what makes her weird.
So she's like
looking.
spends the whole movie wearing one sock.
Yes. Well, they don't have socks, James.
We don't know that.
I think. No, they don't.
They couldn't.
We
make
do know
socks.
that.
Well, just because we never see them doesn't mean that they don't have them definitively.
That means they don't have feet either, James. Ooh,
Oh my god.
you got you there. Got you there.
Oh no, we see her feet.
But anyways, yeah, no. So, oh, do we?
Yeah, I just looked up shell feet. Sure enough.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Pat. Oh God.
Oh, it's not on screen. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
Also, Pat should be privileged. Come on now.
Oh my God.
Wow, they even drew in 5 toes on each foot. Wow. Usually they skip
Oh.
out and only do 4. Same with fingers. Yeah, they did 4 fingers on each hand too, and a thumb.
Oh my God.
See? Like I said, folks, perfection.
Yeah, she just got lucky. Even though historically that's not what they look like, you know what? James is willing to make the sacrifice.
Okay with it.
James okay with it.
This website, Anime Feet, has a really how do I
what?
How do I phrase this?
Wait.
No, the font that they're using, it's like it reminds me of like SpongeBob font, and I have no idea why this is the font they would choose for this website. It seems totally inaccurate.
Oh, James, you mean totally inaccurate?
So thanks for coming. Tune in next week for a different.
Well, probably what it is the first upload they had on there was SpongeBob. Could be it.
Oh, so like Sandy
That
Street?
could be it.
Maybe.
I don't want to get into the whole SpongeBob thing right now.
I suppose it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
Not
But-
impossible.
Let's no longer talk about feet, please.
Fine.
Let's talk about everything else.
Can't talk about anything fun on this podcast.
So he wants to do a sacrifice, and you said earlier you want to talk about sacrifices with Mayan culture.
Sure. So if you want to get into it a little bit,
Yeah.
it seems that most historians who look into it believe that sacrificing was not to be seen as a bad thing, but instead a good thing in their culture. Which obviously they're not going to like put that in a movie like this, right? But essentially, the idea was that the only way to ascend to the heavens was, their equivalent of the heavens, was to be sacrificed. And like, you don't just sacrifice anyone, because you're not sending just anybody to the gods. You're sending people who are worthy.
The best.
Right. So like at the end of, when they play their sports ball game, which has a name that I don't remember, at the end, they're like, oh, now we will sacrifice the losing team. That's not actually what they did. They would sacrifice the captain of the winning team, because he is like, he's essentially the MVP based on everything that we've seen. Yeah.
Basically, picture like this. Say in basketball, LeBron James, like the Cavs win a game.
He had been sacrificed long ago.
Hold that thought of the Cavs winning a game and enjoy it. But
hey, they won plenty of games while he was around.
But yeah, if that happened, LeBron James would be like put on like a stand in front of millions of fans, and they go, "Yeah! Murder him!"
And they would be celebrated. Drinks would be had. It'd be a grand old time watching this person die.
Now, we don't need to get into the moral conundrum of if that's right or wrong.
Hey, you know what?
I think we agree. I think we have an agreement on where that stands.
Religion is a puzzle. Maybe the Mayans figured it out. They had a pretty good calendar. So you know what? Maybe they nailed the religion too. Maybe that is the way.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, if they're good at one thing, they might be onto something.
That's right, man. It could... Listen, I don't know better than anybody else.
As a man who studied the Wikipedia page of Mayan culture.
No, I visited.
They're onto something. I know. I'm just saying that as a joke. I know. He visited the location, so he has more information.
Not Eldorado, just some pyramids in a city.
El Defeco. It's a classic Eldorado.
A fun fact. Their temples are also used as the Masai temples in Star Wars: A New Hope on Yavin. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason he went.
No, I didn't actually know about that until I was there and a tour guide said it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I look around and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely it." And I was like, I looked to my mom and I'm like, "Oh yep, this is worth it now."
You were not having fun, and then so it's Star Wars. You go.
Yeah. You know, good Star Wars, of course. Same location for Rogue One. But anyway, I digress.
So yeah, he tries to sacrifice. He's like always trying to sacrifice, which, like, come on, man, calm down.
Well, from what I heard, that's kind of how it was. Well, I don't know. They talk about sacrificing a lot, maybe because that's just what's interesting. But it seemed.
I mean, they've been bored. They've been waiting for their gods for like thousands of generations.
It seemed.
And now that he's finally here, they're like, haha, don't kill. And they're like, what? He's like, what do you mean don't kill? I've made daggers specifically for killing.
You figure they sacrifice when they win championship games, and then like I think women get sacrificed. Like it's when you're doing something good. So I think like I don't remember if they get sacrificed, but they go to heaven if they like die while giving birth, because that's a very good thing that you are contributing to the population. And if that goes wrong, you know, that is the gods claiming you because you've done your good. Also, it makes sense because they definitely need more people considering how much sacrificing they're doing. Anyway, so.
But yeah, no, he's very into killing, and the two main characters are like, no. And
right,
eventually they release.
This character needs to be morally reprehensible.
Yeah, so we can't have our two main characters kill someone. That's not main character material.
Right, we'd be very confused if our two main characters like went into a room with them for like 5 minutes and they came out and they were like, "All right, we've been convinced. Yeah, let's start.
Yeah,
let's start sacrificing."
But the thing also is that they're after gold. Like that's their main. Like we said earlier, they're mainly after gold, and they very much are after themselves. So it's very strange. I mean, they have morals. I'm not saying it's weird that they are like, wait, no, don't kill. But it's just like, more gold? You know, that's.
Well, they're pretty distinct. So like, Miguel seems to be interested.
They're very much close, but they have their own personality.
Yeah. So like Miguel is the blonde one. He. Like at the beginning, he's the one who's like, "Oh, we need to bet for this map because think of how much gold we can make if it works out." And Tulio is like, "Oh, I'm not a fan of the idea," but they go forward. And then when they get there, you know, Miguel's all into it. He like wants to be around with the people and like
search for it.
Yeah, hang out with everyone. And he's like, "Oh, we need to lie low. You know, we need to not do anything that could draw attention to ourselves." So they're at odds the whole time.
Even though you're gods.
Right. And so Miguel's the one who essentially puts the hold on the sacrificing. And meanwhile, it's not like Tulio would want people to be sacrificed, but he doesn't want to like draw attention. And it would be it would be very weird if like your idols had showed up and they were acting totally differently than you expected based on like
So his whole
the
thing
holy
is,
books and everything.
I'm going to do what the book says. I'm going to do what will get us the more gold. But then Tulio's like, these are people too, sort of thing. They keep referencing how the blonde one doesn't have the voice. I did flip it, but I'm going to pretend like I'm really good at this and just professional.
Okay.
So,
we are really good at this.
The blonde one, blonde one is very much Miguel. Miguel is very much like doesn't have a voice in his head. That's that the other one keeps making. Saying you don't have that voice that's telling you to stop when you're ahead. But then we see him, the guy who said that, Miguel? No, Tulio. Tulio is very much doing that exact thing where he's like, I'm over my head, but I'm going to enjoy it. And I now have got a girl and some gold. I got everything. But Miguel is much more interested now in, what we're doing is affecting people. We should help these people. And get to know them more and spend time with them. Eventually changes his goal because he's wanting to stay.
Yeah, he's very much invested.
Which, that's a good transition. Yes.
Oh, it seems very natural.
That's a pretty
it lines
good
up
arc.
with who he is, you know. And he's ultimately a nice guy, so.
Yeah, they're both nice people.
Perhaps morally reprehensible.
And as for Miguel, I got it this time, right? Black-haired one?
Blonde one.
Tulio. Tulio, by the end of the film, is like, hey, man, you do that. I have dreams and aspirations. I'm going. But even then, by the end of the film, he's now agreeing with Miguel. Which is weird. Like, he has like a sudden change of heart sort of thing.
Maybe, how so?
Like, so he's already like, all right, I got my goal, I got my girl, I'm saying bye to my best friend. We go our separate ways. That's how life is sometimes. And I thought that's where the movie was going. I'm like, cool, all right, cool, that makes sense. All right, yeah. That's a good lesson to teach kids. Sometimes you'll break up with your best friend. Sometimes friends leave and they move on.
Mm-hmm.
But the film like takes a weird turn where like, oh yeah, we forgot. We have all these evil people who are trying to take over the city. We kind of had our action scene already with the giant jaguar, which good scene, good fight scene. Fight, loose term, but good scene all around. Action scene, yeah. So like, oh man, what are we gonna do? We have to solve. We have to get rid of these Spanish people. And his response is, all right, cool. We're gonna flood it and then lose all of the gold that I worked really hard to steal. And he's just like, all right, yeah, let's do it because it's the best. And then Miguel leaves to help his friend, but he wanted to stay and help. That it feels like they had the whole arc and then they just dropped it by the end.
I guess I can see what you're saying. I think I'd be quicker to argue that they kind of fall under the impression that they're in kind of a petty fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, in the end, they realize that's kind of, they kind of care about each other more.
Yeah, but we see at this point, we see Miguel is very much with the people and is very active with them. And the chieftain is aware that he's not a god. Like that's made pretty clear because there's a whole conversation where earlier in the film they say gods don't make mistakes or it's human to error. And the chieftain says that later when they're talking about the boat. He's like, oh, the boat has a few problems. Actually, no, never mind. And he's like, oh, that's fine. It's human to error. So he knows, but he's still willing to keep the guy around because the people like him. And they seem to be doing well under his rule. So it's just very strange that now he's like, okay, I'm going to go back to my friend now. You guys got this, right?
Well, he's doing it to save them.
Even though, yeah, I get that. And I would understand saving your friend, but you could still leave the boat. You can just hop off the boat.
Like while the tower's falling down, he'll die.
Yeah, that does happen. The tower does fall.
Yeah.
So it was an option of
He
do I
leaves
stay with
to
my people?
save his friend.
Right. And I get that, and I understand that.
So
It's just very strange to me that
for
Go ahead.
context, right? We have
the Spanish are here.
right. The Spaniards are coming, and our after Miguel kind of goes off on our witch doctor, he after a game of their ball game, the witch doctor sees that Miguel is bleeding from like a Tulio elbowed
From an
him in the
injury.
face or something during the ball game while they were riding the horse, and that's a fun sentence that I never thought I'd say. Anyway, so he backlashes with a fight where he like summons a giant stone jaguar like thing, and they end up defeating
that he
it.
controls.
Yeah, he's like controlling it with his mind, and they end up defeating it and him, and he gets sacrificed in their whirlpool of sacrifices. But he survives it and like comes out the other side, essentially outside of the city, and that's where he runs into the Spaniards, and he sees this as the opportunity to get revenge. So he starts leading them back.
Which, by the way, would mean that all the gold that they dumped earlier in the film would be down there too.
That wasn't earlier.
Yeah, that was way earlier. Like when he said they sacrifice, they choose another god.
Oh, that
all the gold into the
Well, he's in water, so it could have kept flowing.
Could have.
But no, I would concede that. That's fair.
Yeah.
Actually, it'd probably
and that's when the Spaniards. The gold? Probably. Yeah. Gold is a pretty...
It's heavy, so...
Is it heavy? I don't know. I've never seen really touch gold. So.
It's heavy. And I'm sure it's dense. Okay. So, fair enough. But,
yeah, we would have at least seen it.
Yeah. They probably would have... Yeah, they should have seen it. You got me there. But afterwards, so a scout sees that the Spanish army's coming, and they're being led by our sorcerer witch doctor. So, they're trying to come up with a plan to hide, or well, they want to fight, but Miguel's like, no, can't fight because all we've got is spears and shields, and they have guns. Essentially, he doesn't say that, but it's implied. So we see guns earlier in the movie. So.
Now my question then is, how do they know the witch doctor? What did he say for how the witch doctor survived?
He says they don't. They just say that the scout saw him leading them.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. So from there, they decide that the way to go is to like block off the way into the city by like knocking over a giant pillar that they have that seems to be full of water, which is interesting. Maybe like a giant water tower. I'm not sure.
I think what it is it's supposed to be like it hits down and then there's a giant current because big splash.
I thought there was water already in it when it was coming down, but maybe you're right. I'm not sure. But
well, either way, there's now water pushing them.
Yeah. So the plan is to send Tulio and Chell on their way because he's interested in going back, whereas Miguel is interested in staying. And they're trying to leave, but like they screw up and like the pillar is falling too quick. Oh no, they already have the pillar knocked over, so it's starting to fall, and they're trying to slow it down with ropes until they can get out of the way. But the sail is stuck, so they can't. The boat isn't moving as fast as it needs to. So as kind of a snap decision, Miguel and the horse go, and they jump and to get onto the boat, and then Miguel uses the air he has to let down the sail, and that way they don't get crushed by the falling pillar, and then it pushes them out with a massive current, and that causes as they're going, the boat hits pillars in the cave, because it's like a cave to get behind the waterfall to get into the city, and it collapses the
Yeah.
whole cave system.
Yeah.
And that's how they hide the city.
Well, so the other thing is that, like, during the scene, the boat that they're on, they're right into the boat, and then they suddenly go, "Oh, we need to turn the boat sideways. We're going to lose all the gold." So they can knock down a pillar. Is that why they did it?
Yeah, to make sure they hit both pillars, they need to turn the boat sideways. But then they are gonna essentially lose all their gold because the boat is full of gold, because they're off to like make their Tulio's off to go back to Spain with gold.
Yeah, so they can buy Spain.
Right.
But
Oh,
my
but
whole
that's
thing, my question to that is that, well, so even if they hit one pillar, wouldn't it still collapse the cave?
Maybe.
But I'm just trying to figure out, because like I get what they were going for, but I definitely feel like the way that the movie should have ended is with them separated. I don't really know what the movie is trying to tell us, or if there's even anything to tell. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe not. Does there
I guess it could just
need to be a?
No, it does. There doesn't need to be.
Okay.
I just felt like
I was just
they were
checking.
going
There's
to.
a lot of varied opinions
Yeah,
on that.
No. Films don't have to have a deeper meaning all the time. Like, you could find some meaning, but a lot of the times, there can be films that are just fun movies. They don't have to be deep analytical character dramas.
Right.
Not
and this
always.
one is. This movie's definitely fun. Like the majority of it is definitely Miguel and Tulio in over their heads, trying to make best of a situation they've gotten themselves in, where they are in danger, essentially.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say that all films should do that. I definitely feel like most films should. But we've reached a point in time, films, where more films are saying less. Does that make sense?
I don't know if I agree with
There's
that.
a lot less, like, well, mainstream, I should say, like, the Disney movies don't really have much to say, except for Zootopia, probably. Guess what? Like, hey, racism. But like,
I thought Zootopia was more about gender than racism.
It's about both, actually. There's a whole or not commentary. What's it called? Interview where like Judy at one point in the film says, "But they don't like the bunnies to be called cute," and it's supposed to be like a statement on how that's her preferred. She prefers Zoshki that. So like, that could be a whole thing with that whole thing, but it's more about just like, don't judge people based off who or what color skin or who they or what form of fur.
Yeah, fair enough. It definitely has the idea of how something can be portrayed incorrectly, or like trying to break off of a previous social norm or stereotype.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the last film that I can really think of that, like,
well,
I can think of for like,
I mean,
not think of, but like, that's a good film that shows like you can have a kids movie and still have a good meaning. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You don't need to, but I
think a lot of kids movies have good messages.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like
I'm saying films nowadays have a lot of.
I feel like the new Star Wars movies are, and like Terminator Dark Fate 2, I feel like those are all kind of preachy, like trying to.
They say
push
too
an
much
agenda,
but not.
I'd say, I guess, more than having a theme. I don't know, it's weird because I associate it more with an agenda, but I think they would associate, they being like the filmmakers and the supporters of the film, would put it more as a theme. But I don't know if like my issue with The Last Jedi is there's a few themes in there.
Yeah, but they're not fleshed out.
Well, they're like poorly done and or
like
wrong.
There's the theme of failure. Yeah, there's the theme of failure, but at some points in the movie, it still feels like they're like, oh man, everything sucks, but we still have each other. I'm like, no, everything sucks.
Well, it's like,
it doesn't matter. You have these people, you're still gonna lose.
They're like, failure is the greatest teacher, which I think is a great theme, but the way that Rey doesn't fail at any point.
Right.
Like the best you can do is she's too nice because she's too altruistic because she's trying to save Kylo even though he's kind of a lost cause. And
Yeah.
then I think that goes for a lot of them. Like when they're in the casino and they're like trying to tear up the place because the rich white people are so horrible and
Yeah.
they have the animals enslaved. It's like, okay, freeing
Yeah.
those animals, they'll die outside of captivity. And, these people aren't
Yeah.
strictly evil. They're just benefiting. So it's like,
Themes are not black and white. There's a gray. There's always gray.
well, I think any of these
People
themes would go
forget.
really well in a good movie, but none of them are well portrayed.
What I'm
It's
trying
kind
to
of
say is
short.
not all films should have a story or have like a meaning behind them, but I feel like films do better.
I could agree with that. I think what I'm mostly trying to say is if you're going to have a theme, you need to execute it correctly. And I feel like that
Right.
doesn't get done as often anymore. Whereas like you
Right.
look at something like
Ralph Breaks the Internet, where the theme is shoved down your throat.
right.
But there's literally just a line that explains to you, oh, this is the theme of the movie.
Yeah, I don't like that as much. Whereas like something more like what's a good movie? Something like Ratatouille is a lot more
Where a
subtle
story
with its theme,
like
and the
what is it?
story is something like Ratatouille is a bit more subtle,
Yes.
and the theme is still really good and really powerful and really well portrayed.
Yeah.
And the story exists like on its own. Like you could watch the movie, put no thought into the theme, and still have a really good story.
It's not explained to you like a baby. You're not being told, I don't like working with rats. It's
Right.
like, yeah,
That's
no,
like,
duh.
it's like I wasn't really thinking about themes for the longest time, but I always thought that was a good movie, and that's just because the story's good. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in diving deeper, it pays off. But if you're not, that's fine too. Like it still works
can
on
still
both
have-
levels.
Yeah, you can have
Whereas
popcorn films.
you watch something like La La Land, and someone who's not really looking into theming might have a harder time enjoying it because there's a few things that like don't really seem to line up or are confusing or don't get explained. Whereas, when
Or
you're
like you
watching
assume,
it, you're like,
they
oh
got
my
what they
god,
want.
this
They're
is so
happy now.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're with each other, they're happy, but the movie ends with them. Actually, my mom doesn't like the movie for that reason because she really was like, they should be together. But that's the point of the film. They have to move on.
I mean, I think you can interpret it either way. I think it just generally leads to people being happier with movies when like characters end up together. I think this one too.
Yeah.
Road to Eldorado. I don't know. I think
yeah.
you might feel a bit more tragic at the end if they didn't end up, still being together as friends.
I think they should have left on like better terms. But also it's also just a movie just for fun. It's a fun just comedy film that has a little bit of action. It's nothing groundbreaking, it's nothing amazing, but it's fun,
Its
and
goal
films can be that.
Its goal is definitely
films can be fun.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not saying films have to be always like, oh, let's spend an hour talking about the deep important things of the film. This is probably our like most scattershot review. That's just because we've been going on random tangents.
Well,
but it's because
it brings up good ideas.
The film,
things to talk about.
Yeah, things to talk about because this film is fun and it's fun to talk about these topics. So it kind of all works out. Yeah. So in conclusion, this film is good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Pat, play the opening.
Flashback.
But he recently uploaded a picture of his undergarments, as in like below his penis, basically. And it's not good. It's pretty bad.
You went through a lot of effort there to not say something, and then very quickly just gave up and said it anyway.
Because I could. I said earlier I referred to it as his Undertale, but like
his Undertale.
That wasn't a recording, was it?
No, that's all on recording, but well, she's fine.
Shit.
End of flashback.
So yeah, what time are we at?
I don't know. Oh wow, we're actually already over an hour.
Oh, perfect.
Wow,
So
good job, guys.
good work, team.
Good work,
So do you
everyone.
guys want to talk about the movie before we close up the episode?
I did want to say, if you still want to look at it in terms of theming, don't you think? I don't think it'd be hard to
Murder is bad.
extrapolate a
Yes.
theme of like
Murder is bad.
murder is bad. That's something I didn't get from The Lion King, so there you go. 1 point for DreamWorks.
Sure. No, because in The Lion King, remember, Simba doesn't want to kill. Doesn't want to kill his uncle. Tries to kill him. He's like, well, all right, survival of the fittest. Yeet.
Yeah, but he still dies.
He still dies, yeah.
To hyenas.
Sorry, you were going to say the actual theme that you wanted to say. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sorry, just choking on water. Yes, one does. So.
Okay.
So yeah. Well, I muted myself out of respect for the audience and for you. I'm very respectful to. Ooh, a girl Snapchat me. Hang on.
My God.
Come on,
like I said, guys, go scattershot.
That was funny. I don't believe you. That was a real laugh. I think you're messing with me.
Maybe I have a thing right next to me. I can just automatically give you a fake laugh. Could be. I could do it.
You could?
I could. What's the theme you want to say?
Sorry. Okay. I think it'd be easy to pick out a theme of like maybe I'm trying to think of a really solid one. Like
yeah, exactly.
Well, like he clearly, is sacrificing this potential life for him to save his friends. At the end.
Well, his friend.
Like they both make a compromise.
Yeah.
So like I guess the major arc they go on is they go from being greedy and wanting the things that they wanted, which has always been in line with each other, to realizing that they don't want the same things, so they separate temporarily out of, because they're each desiring this thing that they want, which is now different from each other. But then in like their last moments, when they see that they're in trouble, and they
still help.
Miguel realizes that he wants to help his friend because it's more important to him that his friend is safe and happy than his own potential happiness. And then that happens again to Tulio because he realizes that he's got what he wants. He's got the girl, he's got the boat, he's got the gold, and he's getting away. But it occurs to him that he needs to instead save the city of people instead of seeking out his own interest of having wealth. Boom.
So I guess yeah. All right, you got me there. Yeah, you got me there. It's important to know that you have to make sacrifices, or even better, sometimes even if you do split up, you're still friends, and you do still want to help each other. Sacrifices are important. I think we've said this before, but sacrifices are always important in relationships, but don't sacrifice who you are. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I can see where you're coming from. Very, very weak theme, but I can kind of see.
You think that's weak?
No, meek. That's what I said.
You think that's meek?
Yeah, meek. No, it's a good theme.
Meek. Meaning.
I don't think it means anything.
Person who's willing to go along with what other people want to do. What is the opposite of meek? Like a meek classmate who won't speak up even when he or she is treated unfairly. Freaking, you're meek.
That's true.
Freaking garbage. Calling out my theme. I nailed that down. All right, I don't care about themes and
pretty good job.
movies. All right, I like it when stuff makes sense, but I just freaking I put on the guys there, man. Like I let it rip. I channeled my inner who are terrible
Your third
YouTubers.
eye.
My inner Cosmo, my inner Jenny Nichols, and my inner freaking Just Right. Well, and I put that one out for you, but you're just like, "Oh, it's meek." I don't even think you said meek. I think you said weak, and I think you're just pulling my leg now.
I was actually.
God.
Get bamboozled.
The theme of this podcast is have better friends than Cole.
It's true.
Should not be hard.
Hey.
I say that
James,
while simultaneously being stuck in this position.
Hey, James, you know what's better than having a friend like me?
Literally
having a special
everything.
guest on. Yeah.
Oh, is your dad here?
No. But tune in next time for special guest.
Who's our special guest, Cole?
Great question, James.